Hello, friends. We're back again. It's June the 4th. Joel and Kate at 8, but it's like 8:06 because Kate decided to have headphone problems. Hi, Kate.
It wasn't a choice, okay? But I did have headphone problems. But they're fixed now. Well, those headphones are dead. But I had backup headphones and those are rocking and rolling. So we're okay. Everything is fine. It's
Is
all
everything
okay.
Is everything okay?
Everything is fine. You're another year older and wiser since we did our last show. Hopefully that makes a difference, you know?
Nope. Not that.
Well, damn it all.
At least I'm honest.
It's true. It's true. I am a year older and wiser as of 3 weeks ago or so. And you know what? Not that much wiser. Okay. Definitely older. My back just continues to hurt more. But that's about it.
Man. Let me tell you, getting on the back pain train. So people may or may not know this was a really stupid mattress story. Basically, like, you know how Sean does the Helix sleep ads, and he's just like, I was sleeping on a garbage mattress for so many years until I got the Helix gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
So we were on what was called, I think it was Bed Story, some Amazon brand. We needed a cheap bed after we got married and moved into a new place. So we got this cheap Amazon bed, $300, queen size bed, 12-inch foam mattress, whatever. Over time, I started getting real bad back pain. And then we moved to the place we're in now. And we've been having issues. The building has had issues with AC. So to make a very long story short, we had a portable AC unit from our old place brought to this new place. And we've just been kind of using it in our main room for the last few nights. We never got rid of the old shitty mattress. We were going to give it to friends, and then the friends were like, hold on. We'll get it next week. It's just been sitting in our bedroom, like up against the wall. No problem, whatever. The baby like plays with it and doesn't fall on his face into the wall. It's actually quite
That's
useful.
great for you. Yeah.
Yes. So anyway, we had to pull it out because it's been so hot in our bedroom because there's no ventilation, like proper AC ventilation, that we've just put it on the floor in the living room, just slept on the floor on that old shitty mattress. Luckily, the back pain's not as bad, but man, that thing gave me bad back pain. And when I got the new mattress, the difference was night and day.
That is one thing that, at the urging of my parents, I've always had something like quality of, because they were not going to let me learn from their mistakes. And it affects, I'm just such a bad sleeper anyway, that if I go out of my way to give myself obstacles to to not have a good night's rest, forget about it. But yeah, I'm glad that you had a decent birthday. I'm sorry your pierogies weren't good, but I'm glad the rest of life was all right.
It's okay. It was either going to be bad pierogies or an Impact World Champion roast me on my birthday. Turns out both can be true in the same time.
I was just going to say you got both, which is fun for some of us.
Thanks, Steve.
Mostly the non-new parts of us.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, hey, it's good to see you, chat. I see you chiming in and having a good time. We love these shows because we just get to talk about wrestling for however long we want and just BS our way through the week. If you want to support us here, you can leave a thumbs up. A thumbs up goes a long way. And while you're here, maybe share the video with your friends over on your socials and subscribe to the channel. Click the bell, get your notifications, because we drop content here on Fightful Overbooked every day. And it's not just myself or Jeremy or Kate. There's a plethora of other people who do shows and have very cool and different opinions in wrestling. So come and join us here. And if you want to support us financially, you can go ahead and drop a super chat. Any amount, we'll bring your question up. We'll answer it. You want to make a statement, go ahead. You want to talk about Kate's bangs or my lack thereof, you can go ahead and do that. Any amount, let's go. You can talk about it. You want to talk about Money in the Bank. You want to talk about Forbidden Door. You want to talk about New Japan Dominion. You want to talk about Ice Ribbon. I don't care what you want to talk about. You bring it up in a super chat. We'll talk about it. Let's go. Wait, what? You know, as long as you're not like being a dickhead, you know what I'm saying?
A dickhead, you say?
A dickhead.
An absolute dickhead.
Yes, absolutely, a dickhead.
Bringing in the Zack Sabre Jr. vibes already.
You're welcome. It's funny because I've always thought that dickhead. I've kind of, it's been like a less of a British thing to me lately, and it's been a South African thing to me. Because I know so many South Africans who have just called people dickheads more than British. That's very strange. I don't know.
I think it's a beautiful global term
Hmm.
that can be used by whoever in the most appropriate of contexts. One of them being a wrestling ring, and one of them being if people are being awful in the chat. Don't
They're
be
just being dickheads.
a dickhead.
Anyway, there are no dickheads here. We like our friends here in the chat.
No, that's what's kind of fun. It was funny. I messaged you. Breaking kayfabe here. If you guys want to peek behind the curtain, all right.
Oh, don't do that.
I messaged you that I did miss doing the show last week because we had all the Night of Champions coverage and the NXT coverage and the Double or Muffin coverage, and I was like, oh, I kind of missed like my the non-post show high level chat with Joel thing, but also part of it is like everybody on Overbooked is just fun. Like it's a y'all in the chat are more proactively tuning in for stuff like this, so I feel like the vibes are good. It's kind of like how when we do our Impact and ROH post show, I feel like the people, it's like if you're actively tuning into it, you're probably not here to be that much of a hater. That's what's kind of fun about doing this. I'm
here for the haters though.
Yeah, I'm here for the ones that want to give us money.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the money is good. It's actually really funny because you bring that up about the no haters and all that stuff. This channel and the show, the post Impact and ROH reviews, those are really the only two places where I will look at the comments. Because everywhere else, I'm like, not touching that. Like the SmackDown review, man, I ain't touching that with a 10-foot pole. Raw review, ain't no way. So I get it.
I only look if I go to clip something because I inevitably will see it. The only one that Tuesdays are the most fun because it's a mixed bag, because it's people leaving like insane puns or being like, these guys are mad about everything. I can't believe on this show sour grapes. People are so negative. But those are really fun because we'll be doing like food puns or whatever. And so there'll be a comment that's just like, something to do with a food related talent, and out of context, it's the funniest shit to read in the world. Like it's so great. It's so great.
And shout out to Kyler, who does the social media moderation.
God bless him.
And does the YouTube comment moderation, just to pull back the curtain even further. He and I, like, we chat all the time. Like, we chat about the most random shit. And, like, once in a while, he'll shoot me a message on a Wednesday morning and just be like, man, people really dislike the Sour Graps team on Tuesday nights. And I'm like, they don't get it. Like, I get why they don't get it, but, like, I don't get it.
Joel, what's amazing is they'll watch the whole fucking review.
That's right.
What are you doing? People also like to listen for what they like to listen for.
Of course, like,
yeah. It's kind of funny. Whenever I go back and watch, I'm like, I get the intense hatred pieces of it, but like we actually say a lot of positive things about the talent. Quite often, because it ain't their fault for the things we don't like. But those comments are the ones that always pop me the most. Everybody else just gets, I feel like, very, very nerdy about stuff.
I always and forever love the people who are like, Fightful's in AEW's pocket, and then Fightful is in WWE pocket. And I'm just like, we go to all their shows, right? Like, if anything, like, I don't know, am I an Impact pocket? Because I go to their shows. No one cares, because just no one's paying attention to me. I'm just the Impact guy.
It's just funny because the truth of it is, of course, that we're in MLW's pocket.
Yes.
And nobody else is. So the only promotion that's paying us is don't clip that.
Sure as shit isn't the NWA, I tell you that much.
Nope.
I actually turned off the Crockett Cup last night. Last night was night 1. I finished Tournament of Survival from GCW, good show, and I'm not even a deathmatch guy. I was having fun with that, and then I started watching the Crockett Cup. I turned it off halfway. I was just I cannot. I'm done. I watched the Clowns beat Tom Latimer and I forget who was tag team partner. Rhett Titus, actually, talking about Ring of Honor. It was Rhett Titus, and and then Camille comes out. And I love Camille, and I put over the NWA women's division at every opportunity. And she comes out and cuts this promo that's like good and bad simultaneously. And she's like, so the show's in North Carolina. I think it's in Raleigh. And she's like, I'm from Durham. And she has the accent. She's acting a way that like I'm not used to seeing Camille act. And maybe she's been acting this way and I've just not watched. I'll be upfront. I don't watch Power. I get most of my results from either online or I listen to Steven Jensen on the Weekender on Fightful Select, and I get his takes and his reading of the results. And I kind of keep up that way. And so she's just doing this accent, this like, I grew up in Raleigh, Durham. I'm like, oh my God, what have they done to you? You're still a dominant champion, but like this character they've given you is awful. Anyway, it just becomes a whole like, I'm here to support my man and he just lost, but you were put into this tag team competition and you should be a number one contender, baby. And I'm like, what are we doing? You're the women's champion. You are the person that people are legitimately coming to the NWA to watch. They ain't watching the guy holding the 10 pounds of gold. They're watching you.
No, they are not.
They are watching you. Anyway, so after that, I turned it off. And then I came back to see that Vampiro was backing up La Rebellion. And I was like, no, we're done. We're not watching night 2.
Great to see ya.
Bye.
Bye now. Yikes.
Yeah, I couldn't make it.
Yikes, homie.
It's so bad.
It's such a bummer because Camille has grown so much in her title reign from what I've seen.
Yes.
Like I was not fully in on it in the beginning, but she really settled into her identity and her style so beautifully. And she was doing some really, really great work. I felt like Empower was like the perfect turning point for her. Like I felt like she was doing such great work. And then they love to do these reigns with no end game, right? Like they keep Nick Aldis, Trevor Murdoch, right? And we'll see what they do for Camille, but I mean, the whole thing is like, watch the NWA women's division because they're great. And now it sounds like they're having the NWA women's champion do what exactly? Like
it's bad.
Stand by your man.
Well, yeah, it's a stand by your man. And oh God, I just couldn't do it. Yeah, actually, Ella with the super chat saying, when I grow up, I want to be like Kate. I'll tell you, it's not a good thing. You don't want to do that. It's a bad idea, Ella.
I want to be like you when I grow up, Ella.
if Jeremy, In the Weeds is tomorrow morning. What are you doing here?
You guys are wearing all black, and I'm also wearing black, so I thought I fit in.
Oh my God, we're a heel stable.
Yeah.
We look good.
The Fightful Combat Club.
Oh my God.
I got a shirt that says kick. Shout out.
Jeremy, get on the plane. We're going to Osaka, Japan right now, okay? Jeremy, I'm actually really glad you're on here because
that sounds like a lie.
No, I am, because I hear your cause and I did some grassroots activism yesterday, okay?
Yes.
I know that you've been wanting Cinnabon to speak up about Takeshita. Okay?
Did you ask them?
I went up to them because I thought I would commit to the bit. And I was like, do you happen to know any of this? And they were like, no, I work here for $16 an hour. Please leave me alone. So I didn't.
Good price, actually.
You didn't ask the right questions. You clearly did not ask the right questions. You got to show them the video.
I was going to do a thing, but there was a line because in that part of New York, there's a lot of people that are there for Cinnabon and less there for wrestling.
Well, I'll tell you this right now, Kate. I have a big announcement to make, and I'm just going to go ahead and announce it instead of teasing.
We don't have a graphic for this.
Yeah, I know. We do need Jeremy's announcements. What I should actually do is say that, like, I have a big announcement. I'm going to make it on In the Weeds tomorrow. Oh, Joel Pearl has an announcement. Look at that.
That's what I can do for y'all.
I'm not you, Joel Pearl.
Thank God.
Every day. Yeah. I will be on Tag Talk tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, and I will continue the boycotting of Cinnabon with a new agenda. So tomorrow at 3 o'clock, Tag Talk. I don't actually know when I'm going to be on the show, but Tag Talk's at 3, so watch the whole show and I'll appear at some point. But we will have a new strike against Cinnabon tomorrow on Tag Talk.
Hey, while you're here, you want to really quickly promote In the Weeds for 10 a.m.?
Not is that when we're on?
We're on at 10. Actually, I do want to promote the guests real quick. At 11 a.m. tomorrow on In the Weeds, we're going to have Adam Barnard, who I think a lot of people have seen his tweet going around about the Bloodline and his experience with. I'm trying to be as like sensitive as I can to this whole thing, but his experience with narcissistic abuse. So a trigger warning to those. Tomorrow morning, Adam's going to join us to talk about that thread, the Bloodline and his experience, and that's at 11 a.m. Eastern on In the Weeds. It's been a really interesting take, and he's really excited to give his story and how it all relates to the Bloodline and how it all ties together.
It's a very important discussion we're going to have on In the Weeds tomorrow. I do look forward to that. Joel set that up. Joel is always doing great work. Sometimes I say always, but like sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes I'm like nice to him, and then I got to catch myself and be like, wait a second, just had an out of body experience right there.
Hey, while you're here, CO's asking what's Jeremy's average hours of sleep per night?
Man, I got kids, and as the kids tell me, you don't sleep when you have kids. So my average is maybe like 4. I feel good when I get like 4. And then New Japan last night completely screwed that up. So I got like 3 last night. That was pretty good. 3 is not bad. I should promote this on In the Weeds as well. But like Ryan Sullivan saying, you guys were talking about NWA. Look, I gotta save you from yourself.
Touche. You know what? In the Weeds, by far a more entertaining wrestling program than NWA.
We are not real wrestling fans on In the Weeds.
That's right. Yeah, neither am I.
That's why I came on. I was like, what are they doing? What has happened
like,
to my Joel and Kate at 8?
Why are you watching us to begin with?
I love this show. This is my third. This is my second favorite show that I'm not on. That sounds very mean to the other shows, but Tag Talk is number 1 across the board. But the shows that I'm on, I very much enjoy. The shows that I'm not on, I like all of them. We do great work at Fightful Overbooked, but I love this show. Joel Pearl is one of my best friends that I don't actually like. I have to do a show with him 3 days a week. And I gave Kate's only here because of me. So like, I got to support, right?
Are we back on the media call? What the heck, man?
Is there somebody like next to you off camera being like,
be nice to Joel Pearl? She tells me that every day, be nice to Joel Pearl.
Oh,
like,
why? Why do I have to?
No, if Jeremy's consistently nice to someone, I'm more suspicious than if he's consistently ripping them.
Fair. Honestly, fair.
He's also like, first of all, his wife's also trying to manifest Eddie Kingston on our show so that Jeremy can try and get Eddie Kingston to massacre me.
Well, yeah, but she also just wants us to interview Eddie Kingston, just like here. She wants us to interview CM Punk too. She's like, just give CM Punk an open form and just be like, here you go, say whatever you would like. I'll message.
They tried that at the end of a pay-per-view.
I'll message CM Punk and Eddie Kingston and be like, hey, you're free during this time? You just want to come talk? We don't really care what you say. Just
let him
talk.
Promos for the G1 for the next 2 hours.
Yeah.
Let's go, Eddie. Take one.
I'm cool with that.
Let's go.
I'm fully cool with that. What I was gonna say is I worked myself into a shoot, and I am doing an eating competition against a pro wrestler on In the Weeds. People saw it, and then like I should tell this. People are just gonna rehear their story tomorrow morning. Joel, you came up with the great eat and greet. And then I messaged Ronnie. I was like, I actually want to do a competition. Can you be like the MC of this thing? Well, that be Kate just left. She's like, I'm tired of this In the Weeds.
You
show.
are now.
We should just change this to In the Weeds and then just see what happens.
Ryan is very excited for Kate to pop off.
Is she gonna come back? I actually don't want to take up time. You guys were talking NWA, and I was like, what?
I assume she's coming back momentarily.
Okay, well, in that case, okay.
I'm just fixing my white girl light. Continue.
Oh, okay, all right then. Yeah, Sunday Weeds. So yeah, I think we're actually doing an eating competition, and me against a professional wrestler. And maybe we should do a poll. Maybe a poll will settle this. The 3 choices that we have are hot dogs, donuts, and Oreos. You let us know what you would like us to eat in this competition.
Cinnabon.
And Cinnabon. No, I'm not giving them any more publicity. We're boycotting the Cinnabon.
Knowing who the wrestler is that we're going to be doing this with, hot dogs is the answer.
Hot dogs the answer, but here's the reason why I don't want to do hot dogs is they're doing the Nathan's hot dog eating contest the day after, and like that's the tie-in, obviously. And yes, who we're doing the competition with, yes, hot dogs makes a lot of sense. But like personally, I think Oreos would be fun, and because I just want to dunk them in milk, and also donuts is just like it's donuts.
Why not wings?
Messy. Very messy.
You ever type on a keyboard while doing that?
Yeah.
The sound that comes with it is not great.
Ella's very messy.
Donuts.
Probably just regular glazed, just.
Don't pay. Ella has some of the worst food takes I've ever heard in my life.
She does. She legitimately does.
Don't let her have any sort of say in this. Doesn't like macaroni and cheese. Ella, come on.
Ice cream is good. I can put away some ice cream. Ice cream and Oreos.
She doesn't like mint chocolate chip.
Oh, I know. We've gotten to an argument over this on Twitter. Ridiculous. I don't get it. Like it's the worst. It's the worst. Where am I? Look at this. Here we go. Mint Oreos, baby.
There it is.
Every night.
Respect.
The mint Oreos.
Donuts would be fun. I vote donuts if not dogs.
I think donuts would be good too. So I'm gonna do a training video. This is gonna be a big thing. I'm gonna really do this. I'm gonna take a bunch of edibles before I do this competition. I hope there's no drug testing. That way I can really be hungry and everything. Be good. Get a tapeworm in me.
Remember, remember, you have to go to the buffet. You have to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables and salads. Remember what Ronnie told us. That's how you prepare for these things.
I'm gonna take all of his advice. I'm in it to win it. I'm taking this very serious, and I'm going to win. There's no Krispy Kreme in Ohio. At least if there is, I have no idea where one is, and that's very sad. There's a Dunkin' Donuts like a stone's throw away. So we're gonna do Dunkin' Donuts because I feel like that's pretty, chain. It's everywhere. So
Ryan Lambert is here for Glizzy Jeremy. Oreos are nasty, he says.
If you guys want
nasty, Ryan, meet Ella. You can have terrible food taste together. Oreos are nasty.
I will tell you, if you want the most content out of the training videos, hot dog might be the vote. Oreo maybe Oreo. Donuts, I can get some good content. Hot dog, like that's easy. Like, haha, look at this. Look at them doing with hot dogs. Easy content, right? So
just floppy.
Yeah, but like you're better than that, to be honest. Like you are
100% not. Let's be honest about this. I'm not better than that at all.
Content-wise, I feel like you're better.
I mean, look, I'm gonna have fun with it. We'll find CO tomorrow. I will tell you Cinnabon's biggest competition. And I'm backing them 100% tomorrow.
This week's episode of Tag Talk will feature Jeremy Lambert.
So I need to
boo, Jeremy, boo.
Okay, so before Jeremy heads off to the sunset, I assume you get me.
Oh, I thought this was a half-hour long promo for In the Weeds. I thought that's what the show was. So
I do want to mention this. So I do the audio upload for it In the Weeds every show that we do. This particular episode that we did on Friday, I need to pat myself on the back for this. If you listen to the audio and you had all of the commercials show up at the 33-ish minute mark, I do that collision bit and we don't actually do the CM Punk. We go into something else. When I stop and pause, I put in a mid-roll right there. And then an hour later at 1 hour and 33, I picked that shit up right again. And I did the exact same shit. And I put in another mid-roll and we gotcha.
This is how you know you've like jumped the shark as a podcaster. When you're uploading your audio, because I do this too. I haven't done it in a little bit, but when you're like, I'm going to put the audio in this spot, your little mid-roll, and you're like, that's the most only for me thing you can do.
Oh, y'all put way too much. I maybe did that like the first time, like, oh, I want the listeners to have a great experience and make sure it flows before it just cuts to a commercial break. And then I heard like all the like Renee's podcast would just put it in random sentence.
Random shit. It's awful.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? If Renee Paquette, Kate's new best friend, can just put it in the middle of a random sentence, then so can I. So I was just like, this is what we're doing.
I just try to make sure it's not top of our in audio ad reads, like on the
Right.
that we're not doing like an on-air one followed by a mid-roll like back-to-back
That
like that.
makes
But
I just like 2
but
seconds of dead air, or like a little bit of dead air, and I'm like, there it is.
oh, you guys, you haven't lived until you've uploaded the Tuesday audio and Alex rant, and you just throw in like a mid-roll. Oh, it's so great.
The middle of an Alex rant. Let's go.
Just him screaming, and then it being like,
who approved Alex getting time off? This was not run
know.
by me.
I don't know. Speaking of approval, someone
Finally,
wants
a pro
to-
is here.
Yeah, well,
Finally.
she has something to say about your
Ella
your
addresses her
big friend,
enemies.
her. Yeah.
For once, I don't have beef with Joel. That's a first.
He's the
What
worst.
did you do
right?
wrong?
Yeah.
I gave her
Hi,
last week
Ella.
off.
Hi.
This is the first time Ella and I are on a stream together, which is ridiculous.
And that's only because you were talking shit.
Your food takes are
Well,
awful, though.
thank-
Let's be honest.
I had a lot of people backing me up though on the mint chocolate chip one. Just saying.
Danny
they're
Cage
all
is not
wrong.
people, okay? Danny Cage is just also wrong with you on that.
Maggie agreed with me though too. Is the thing.
Oh, Maggie she
doesn't
lives.
count here either.
Yeah, she just
In
had
Bulgaria,
like,
it tastes
cereal.
different. It's just like
She just had cereal like 5 minutes ago. She doesn't count.
And it was Magic Spoon too. Like
Joel.
Yeah.
Joel. What the fuck?
what? We've had this discussion on the run sheet. We have. There are old episodes where we talk about that. We talked about what do we do? We did the hot dogs with your sub take where it's like you put nothing on it.
Yeah, I'm a plain person. What do you want from me?
This is just
Nice.
Joel plugging his own show. Oh, in the weeds, the run sheet with Ella J. Anything to avoid being the show that I'm on.
To be fair, Joel does owe me a show because he was melting too much to record last week with me.
Hey, you guys want some breaking news on the air?
Sure.
Impact. Watch the Impact post show on Thursdays.
That's okay, because I'm on the ROH one ahead of it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I'll take
At
that.
whatever time Joel and Cresta actually get on the air.
So if you're a GCW fan, maybe plug your ears for 2 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Spoiler alert. Blake Christian is the new GCW world champion. Beat Masha Slamovich after she defended against Rina Yamashita in the cage.
We should
Kind of
get
saw
Blake
it coming, to
Christian
be honest.
We should get Blake Christian on In the Weeds.
We should actually get Blake. I would love to talk to Blake Christian on the show.
Should I just message him right now and be like, "Hey, Blake, don't know
Yes.
if you're busy right now,
Yes.
but you want to come on?"
This show right now.
Yeah.
Sure, just secure the interview while we're on the show, man. Just
Nah,
do-
his DMs are closed, unfortunately. I know
Oh,
people who
really?
know people. We'll see. We'll see if we get Blake Christian.
Oh yeah, I know a guy.
I know,
a guy
Gal.
who does shows. I have really.
See, I got comments in here agreeing with me with that mint chocolate chip is gross. Thank you, people. Thank
Who's
you.
that? Who agreed? CO? Oh, I like CO.
Enough of other people. This is our show.
I did nothing. I didn't make this.
See, I can just do that though.
I
Ella
didn't-
can't do it. I can put Ella back on though. There we go.
I'm just pointing out I did not have any.
Wait a second. Hold on. How you doing, Ella?
What's
I'm-
up?
I'm Joel. That's Kate, and this is Joel and Kate at 8:35 on Fightful Overbooked.
We should have our own late night show, Jeremy.
Oh, we tried that once, and then I
Yeah,
got
that goes
kids
away
and
real
a
quick.
wife, Yeah. And I couldn't do it anymore.
Fair
Kate
enough.
seems actually agitated. I'm going to.
No,
leave.
no,
I don't
no,
want
I'm
to.
not.
I
I
don't
thought
want
her
to
face
upset
was
you.
like,
Gosh.
Yeah. She's
No,
like,
I
oh my
was-
gosh.
It's called kayfabe, people. I was just having fun.
Oh, Kate's fame. Damn it.
Yeah, that's my whole name is a pun. No, I love it. I like all the people. I only get annoyed by run-ins if it's someone I actually don't want to talk to. We don't have those around here.
Well,
I was gonna say,
I'm
do
glad-
people with
I'm
access
glad
to
Kate
this?
doesn't hate me in real life.
No, please. I
I
have
just
so
assume
many other
everyone
enemies
dislikes
to
me.
address before
Yeah.
Ella.
Before Ella. I just assume everyone dislikes me, so it's fine.
Stop.
I mean,
Tolerate you.
yeah.
3 times a week plus every other meeting we have every day.
I try to not to talk to you that much, Joel.
I get it.
I have to, but like I try not to.
You have to talk to him at least 3 days a week, at the very least.
That's true. Unless he like avoids our show like he did for a couple of them. Yeah, SB3, a much better host.
Oh yeah, that time where I had to go to Calgary to go see my family, and Bret Hart didn't actually want to hang out.
Coward.
I can't believe coward. Come on, Bret.
just-
And then you showed up in Toronto and you had your Walk of Fame and you didn't want to hang out there either. But
I
you're
wouldn't
all-
hang out with you either.
I get it. He
You-
wants to hang out with Steve Agantaro. I get it.
You wouldn't say anything bad about Goldberg.
I
Say
can't.
something bad about Goldberg right now, Joel Pearl.
He breaks his face a lot at inopportune times. Bleeding.
Good. Great.
Nailed it.
Great.
Got it.
I don't
Say
think
something
that's
nice about Jeff Jarrett, Kate.
something nice about Jeff Jarrett.
He's a lot of money to afford a lot of these guitars.
He is extremely employable, it would seem.
The second half
Yeah.
made it sound like a backhanded compliment.
Yeah, it would seem.
There's a lot of evidence to suggest that Jeff Jarrett is very employable. He's so great at coordinating live events. I think he should throw his whole self into that role of his life. That's how good he is at it. These house shows are going so well. I want to see what it looks like with all of Jeff Jarrett's time and energy devoted specifically to those.
Do you think Jeff Jarrett would have been good in D-Generation X since he was in literally every other imaginable like popular group?
Yes. Jeff Jarrett going around telling people to suck it? You kidding me?
Suck it, slap nuts. Let's go.
Yeah. Great.
All right, just making sure. I wanted to get people's opinion on this. Ella, do you agree, disagree?
Sure, I'll agree.
Wonderful.
Ella, say something mean about Mickey James.
She's always late to everything, and like even Nick will point this out. Like, I love her, but she is not punctual at all.
Shit, her and Kate should hang out sometime if they could ever get their schedules together.
There we go.
Yeah,
See?
show up to this.
Also, she likes mint. She likes mint ice cream, mint chocolate
Yeah,
ice cream.
Mickey James, a woman of
Yeah.
taste.
Okay,
Mickey
hold
James
on.
rules.
Here's the thing. It's not that people don't like mint chocolate chip ice cream. It's just that if given the opportunity, people will pick literally anything else before mint chocolate chip ice cream. They call it the fallback flavor because it is the flavor you pick when your favorite flavor is unavailable.
I will eat like any other flavor of ice cream over mint chocolate chip ice cream. I can't do mint and chocolate. I can't. I will eat literally like any candy bar as long as it doesn't have mint or coconut in it. Like, that's it.
I feel like Ella isn't supporting me, and it just makes me upset when women don't support other women.
You're the one who started it, to be honest with you. You're the one who brought it up, not me.
I
How does
have
this make you
never
feel,
started
Ella? Is this-
anything
is
in
this
my
like,
life.
You know, just
You know, you can have it. You can
Giving
have
you-
it. That's just more for you. I don't eat them, so that's just more for you. So good for you.
That shit is like neon green. That is Hulk green.
it's so good.
I believe it's good, but like
Does this
the
just make
color-
you uncomfortable, Ella?
It's the sound that makes it uncomfortable.
That should go behind a paywall, Jeremy. That's a new story on Fightful. That's a new video on Fightful Select. Jeremy's mukbangs.
People get canceled for less on this platform for these things.
Oreos are great. Mint chocolate chip ice cream is great. Macaroni and cheese is great. Ella is a hater.
It's very good.
Kate, I don't know if you saw the chat, but our pal Luis mentioned that Santana tweeted out 6'9". Nice. As in
The
June
hate-
9th, which is a Friday.
The haters
Nice.
keep you employed, though, Kate.
What was that?
The haters keep you employed, though.
Oh, I know. I do a show with the biggest hater every Tuesday. All right. Jeremy out of here.
It was getting extremely uncomfortable on so many levels. Well, this was the best show we've produced in months.
That's the episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Don't even know if we talked about wrestling. Oh no, we did. We talked about the NWA. So clearly,
We did. We talked about. If you don't talk about the NWA, you aren't even a wrestling fan. So
that's right.
That's what's up.
All right. Are we done with the four top, or are we?
I guess so. Jeremy said love y'all, so I'm assuming that means he's out of here.
All right. All right. Good. Thanks to Jeremy and to Ella for showing up. We got to actually do our show and talk about the things people want us to talk about.
We started with NWA. If that's not giving the people what they want off the top, like, I don't know what it is.
That's true. Our chat, our private chat was just very funny right now. I'm not gonna give it up, but it was very funny. Let's get a couple of super chats that came in. Jay Miller saying some of the wrestlers in commentary have mentioned the phrasing of any title and championships that where mid-card catch-ins will be allowed. What are your thoughts? I assume this is Money in the Bank and Gunther approaching Riddle, for example, and being like, I hope you win so you cash in on me. Austin Theory cashed in on the US championship last year. What are your thoughts on mid-card titles being cashed in during Money in the Bank?
Dumbest possible route you could take.
If you're a heel and you're trying to get like the most guaranteed outcome that you'll win, I see it. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I see what the storytelling entails because you're not going to beat Roman. You can probably beat Seth at this point. But like if they didn't have the World Heavyweight Championship, probably would have been people trying to go after like the lowest common denominator. Awesome.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid. I think it makes more sense to cash in on the NXT World title than it does to cash in on a mid-card title. That's like if someone says, hey, do you want $100? And you're like, nah, I'll take $80 instead. It is such a stupid idea. It is infuriating that Austin Theory didn't do it or did do it instead of cash in on the titles when they were at Clash at the Castle. Like he could have just cashed in and lost. It would have cleared up that whole thing. It is an unbelievably ridiculous misuse of Money in the Bank because that is supposed to feel like this looming threat that you could challenge for the biggest prize in the company at any time. Why you would cash in on something smaller is ridiculous, especially when this is a world where it doesn't take a lot to get a challenge at a mid-card title. Like it basically is like, hey, I want that. Okay. Like if there was more structure or an authority figure that was toying with someone, maybe that makes sense, but I think it is just a somewhat asinine suggestion.
I will say this. When Theory had the briefcase and he went down to NXT for that one shot of him with the briefcase threatening Braun Breaker, that was the one time where I think a lot of people were like, yeah, do that. Go down to
NXT. It's still a world title. You know what I mean? It's the world title of a different brand.
Yeah, the idea of like the NXT, it's not even the NXT World Championship, it's just the NXT title, which like you're the face of that brand, which honestly a lot of people were like, this is perfect for him. He goes back, he refreshes, he becomes a tentpole member of that brand. He proves his value and builds his stock, and then he goes back up once he drops the title. It was the right place for him to cash it in. And also it shows that you could cash it in anywhere, anytime for any championship. It would have worked, but instead they did what they did. And yeah, here we are.
Yeah, that was I think if you had a golden egg for the mid-card titles that you could cash in on, that's the move.
Yeah. It's about gold eggs and family. Green eggs and family pal. Anyway, who do you have a Money in the Bank favorite yet? Now that they're starting to do qualifiers,
my pick would be LA Knight.
I
think, that guy's personality with the briefcase for months on end could be so much fun. I'm not convinced it's not going to be Cody. I think Brock costs him. I think that's the move. It sure feels like they're setting up for Jay to dethrone Roman. So it definitely, to me, the move is LA Knights to win. I really think that would be the way to go. And in the women's, I don't make a prediction because it all gets cashed in within 12 minutes anyway. So
who knows? Maybe the winner's going to go into Vince McMahon's office and be like, I demand that you make this a longer title reign. By the way, I do have to point this out. The story that went around, someone aggregated the Shayna Baszler, Ronda Rousey. They went to management and talked about, give them the titles. It wasn't give them the titles. It was put them together as a tag team. Like Shayna Baszler went out of her way to be like, no, you idiots. We didn't say we wanted the titles. We said we wanted to be a tag team. So anyway.
Sure. They're not going to do
together.
that and not give them the titles. I think is probably where
Right.
most people were thinking.
Right, but
and there was definitely some people who made the point of, gee, I remember 2 other women who asked for them to give a crap about women's tag team wrestling.
Right. But I think the problem here wasn't that they were coming at it as an angle of give us the tag titles. It was implied, but it wasn't like they went to whoever and said, give us a tag titles. It's the only way. It was more like, we want to be a tag team. We have been for a long time. You kept telling Ronda to wait for it because you wanted to do something bigger with her. And then nothing ever came because Ronda came back at the Rumble that one year in 2022 and didn't give a shit. And basically devalued her own stock.
I said from the beginning with that, like, her as a face is just a bad idea. Because they don't know how to write the face that she is. They have no idea how to lean into the shit talker that she was in UFC and make that work as a face thing. They're way too sterile of writers to make that happen. The other thing is, especially when you go away and have a child, Ronda's whole career before that, she was in the ring with ring generals, like people that could guide her through matches. 100%, like Charlotte and Becky. I mean, the best women's wrestlers in the world were the ones holding her hand through things. And then when she got back and they put the title on her, it was a reverse situation. And I think that just didn't work. Like, she just isn't far enough into wrestling to be the one that's guiding people through the matches. That's why I think the best match of her reign was the one that she dropped to Raquel, because it was somebody who organically fit her moveset a little bit rather than her having to be so kind of like careful or up her pacing or make all these adjustments. Like, I think her and Raquel work together because when Ronda leans into her style of what she can do, I don't know if there's anyone that's better at it except maybe for Shayna Baszler. So that to me was the miss of her singles run. I've been calling for a Shayna and Ronda feud for a long time, and knowing that they're the women's tag team holders means that'll probably be happening in about a month from now. So I'm
very excited for that. Yeah. That is my favorite trope in wrestling. When I pointed it out, people are like, oh God, he's right. And I'm like,
of course.
Oh, right. That's what happens. So you don't have a woman in mind for Money in the Bank just yet?
They could give it to Bianca. Like that could be a really fun way to go.
Feels like Bianca is going to be the first challenger at Money in the Bank.
After this week, it does seem that way. I don't know if I mean, we got this revolving door promo, right? It was so weird. I would love for it to be Io instead. I feel like there's so many fun things you could do with this Damage Control breakup. But I also think a Money in the Bank heel turned Bianca could be a really, really fun way to go. Like, we've seen that they don't follow their own rules, right? So Bianca could lose, go insane, and then enter the match and win, or whatever. Take Shotzi out or someone beforehand, whatever. They had Austin Theory just decide to enter and win it. They could do the same with her, but if you did it with Bianca as a heel, being the EST with the Money in the Bank briefcase, that could be a whole bunch of fun. I think Io would be a fun possibility, and Bayley and her could have some really fun fallout over which one of them has the briefcase.
My only concern with turning Bianca heel,
are you concerned?
It's big concern. I would cry every night into my pillow. I would be upset. I would call switchboards all over the place to talk about
Switchboard Jay White.
I would be Switchboard Jay White, Switchboard Jay Pearl. I would call everywhere and tell them, They can't do it like this. I'm so confused. Anyway, with Bianca, I don't think they would do it because she is the baby face of all baby faces at every single event. Sean's talked about it too. The community stuff, she's there. She's first one in, she's last one out. Interviews, when she does the scrums, man, she sticks around. She talks to everybody. She's very, very good at being present and being part of it. And I don't think WWE wants to take that away because there's really nobody else on that women's roster that is as good as she is right now at doing that. Raquel's trying. Natty's there all the time, but Natty's also been there forever and ever on men. And like Nikki Cross is another one who's always there and always like engaged with people.
I mean, Becky, but
she doesn't do a lot of the press stuff these days.
You could very easily, if that was the concern, you could very easily crank that up. I think Becky is one of the most sincere interviews that they throw out there. I hear that, and Bianca is. I've said for months, like Bianca's female John Cena, even in the way that she was protected in her reign. We were talking about damage control. All three of them tried to take her out, and they couldn't do it. Like she is that for them. I think creatively it would be extremely interesting. I completely understand not doing it for those reasons, or even just not wanting to do it right now. Because of what you said of the who's next up thing. But creatively, I think it could be interesting. She is also, like, Bianca is one of the few stars that they've actually made in the past couple of years. Like, she is one of the very few of the newer NXT handoffs that has been something that has translated and worked and is doing so to like the fullest extent of the law. So I get it. I get wanting one of your only success cases to stay face and making a bunch of money.
There's an even bigger point to that. She's also one of the only PC trained wrestlers that like only PC, never worked the indies, came in day one at PC and came out the star that she's become. That's been something that WWE's been trying to do forever. And when they got Bianca, that was like, oh my God, it finally worked. So it's rare. And they need.
She's also the only black woman on the roster too, I think, right now. On the main roster.
You may be right. I
you probably don't want that too. Like you probably don't want
Michin.
Sure. Okay, yeah.
But I get what you're saying. And I agree with you. There's a need. There's just a need for representation. You can't just have one black woman and be just like, good enough.
And you probably don't want to turn that one black woman heel in the process, right? Like that's a big part of it.
Hayden Carter was pointed out in the chat. She's also a tag team wrestler.
And where the hell is she? That's my only thing. I'm like, great.
Wasn't there an injury? Wasn't there an injury with them?
Was there? Oh, that's
like one of them has an ankle injury or something. Yeah, there's something going on.
That sucks if they're a team that should have been called up a long time ago. So if there's an injury, that blows. As
is tradition, everyone has their ACLs blown out right now. It's just
everybody. The injury bug is nasty, man.
Wild. For Money in the Bank for the men's, I think I'm leaning towards Drew McIntyre as the guy. I do think he comes in and wins it and turns heel. I think he takes out Seth Rollins, and it's just dirty and nasty. He takes that title away. That's the guy that I would do, and I'd bring him back at Money in the Bank. I don't know if I would like to bring him back at Money in the Bank, but they've done too much of that over the last few years of having like last minute entrants. So unless they
would do that with a guy who is reportedly not even close on contract.
I would do that with a guy who seems like his creative is the big question right now, and maybe things have changed.
Okay.
That's where I'm coming from. But who knows? That's what I would do. And on top of that, for the women, man, it's so tempting to say Lacey Evans just to upset.
Why do you want me to quit?
I don't. She did not qualify this past Friday on SmackDown. They usually do a second chance match with the losers. We'll see who the losers are, because she could very well be the winningest loser. There are other people who might make more sense, but if they're trying to kind of build a heel with the briefcase, she's really the only one I can think of that's on the women's side of SmackDown that makes the most sense. But then they got to challenge right now Asuka or Rhea Ripley, that's pretty tough. I don't know where that would work.
I feel like if they were gonna do, it to me felt like they were setting up for a lazy Money in the Bank win last year, and they didn't do it, and that makes me think that they don't think they have anything figured out with her, which is also how I feel. So that part of it, in some ways, is a relief. But I thought for sure they were gonna do, it would have been Cody Rhodes, Lacey Evans, 4th of July, America winners. But I don't know.
In the UK, by the way.
Of course.
That's how you do it.
I don't know. I feel like even they might think that's too much of a risk. And I don't know if Lacey Evans versus Asuka would be the thing that or Rhea Ripley, honestly. Like, that feels like it needs Charlotte to be champion. And I feel you could have Charlotte come back and win it, actually.
I don't hate it. Has she held the briefcase? I don't think she has.
I don't think she has. And if you want to set up Asuka versus Charlotte at Mania.
Yeah. I don't know if they're going to go as far as to have anybody. People keep coming up with the idea Cody wins and then he calls his shot at WrestleMania with the briefcase. And it's like, they've done the call the shot before, and it's not as interesting or as enticing as people seem to think it is or was. John Cena had he called his shot. That wasn't much at Raw 1000 against Punk. And
yeah.
It was a Big Show coming out and getting DQ'd. And that was the briefcase. So like, it's not interesting.
I think
Big E did the same thing.
Well, Big E's was so different because it wasn't like the device of the briefcase that made it special, though him walking around making out with it was really, really fun. It was like this moment that we knew wanted to happen, that needed to happen, that was so special to finally happen. And the briefcase was kind of a catalyst for it, but it's way better off as a heel device. Cody calling a shot, I feel like only works if it's Roman, and I don't think that's the direction they're going. You could have Cody win it and cash in on Seth. The story's right there.
Yeah, but you're finishing the wrong story then.
But Seth has lost to him 3 times, right? Like, that could be, they love adversity. If he lost to Seth Rollins,
only one
adversity
at a time, Kate. Only one adversity at a time.
I think Brock probably costs him, and it goes to the way of like an LA Knight. Or my guess is Montez Ford wins whatever last chance qualifier they probably end up doing.
Yeah, I think Tez will win the last chance qualifier as well. I don't think or want Cody or Brock in that match. I want them to have their blow-off match at Money in the Bank, which would make sense too, because Brock's going to be on that card. They're going to the UK. That's a huge event. From a business standpoint, this is their opportunity to reset their television deals in the UK as well. So they're trying to put over a big card that gets a lot of people invested and then gets a lot of business eyes on the product. Brock is a guy that will do that. I would have Brock and Cody 3, do it either in a big cage type match or do the submission match. That's what I want more than anything.
No, they're gonna do that at SummerSlam.
No, don't do it at SummerSlam. Have a go a different route. Do Brock and Seth at SummerSlam for the title. That's where I think they're going with that. They'll have Brock versus Seth for the World Heavyweight Championship. Cody will do something else. I don't know what. Maybe it'll be Cody, Brock, and Seth.
Gunther.
Could be Gunther. Who knows? And that's the other side of things too. I don't want the match for Cody and Brock to become a winner joins Money in the Bank either. I don't like that scenario.
I guess what they're going to do.
Give Cody more adversity.
He's absolutely going to have. Brock is 100% going to cost him. Cody's going to be in the Money in the Bank because of course he is.
He just did that though. That's how they did the night after Night of Champions.
They don't give a shit.
They've started giving more of a shit though. They're not running. They haven't.
I don't see a world where Cody and Brock isn't the third main event of SummerSlam. I don't think they're putting together a program quick enough to go between Money in the Bank.
I think Seth and Brock is the SummerSlam show.
Barf.
We shall see. that's just where I'm at. We'll do the Roman Reigns talk in a little bit because Ricardo still no surname said as a super chat early in the show saying Forbidden Door match speculation. Kate's bangs, yay! Yeah, but I guess you want to talk about it. So, what do you want to talk about?
Bryan Danielson.
Yes,
joined the band Blind Melon, and there is no rain.
That's right. The original thumbnail for this show until Kate made me angry.
Joke's on you. I thought the Uso segment was phenomenal.
Yes.
But Okada versus Danielson is that's just an unbelievable call on their part. I think a lot of people were assuming it would be Zack Sabre Jr. versus Danielson. I think doing that at Wembley in front of a UK crowd for ZSJ is not a bad idea if you wanted to do that. But Okada, it's just a very clean best in the world feud with a heel Danielson and a face Okada right now. I mean, God, with that and Omega Ospreay 2 being set up, and that's before we've even gotten through the rest of Dominion. And Claudio Castagnoli's in Osaka right now. Like, this is incredible. Like, I'm so happy for New Japan because they got so... I was going to say they got so shafted during COVID, which they did, but they also just did this really responsible thing and took care of their wrestlers and shut down while the pandemic was in the throes of it and paid them to not wrestle like everybody else at their own jobs. But I'm so glad to see like Strong is killing it. New Japan proper is killing it. Like, this has been such a healthy moment in wrestling. And it's just interesting. I think we'll probably get Samoa Joe versus Zack Sabre Jr. at Forbidden Door then too, which is awesome because that's been a really fun TV title program. Aussie Open is the big question mark in the tag picture because the injury, but probably should be back. It sounds like Davey should be back. Maybe you do the Lucha Brothers, FTR, and Aussie Open as a triple threat. That would rule. Like, it seems like a really cool balance of we can throw together some dream matches here, but there's also ones that have longer term stories in play. And those stories don't even have to be like we faced each other 5 times before. It could just be Bryan Danielson's historic career, Okada's historic career. You'll see if they can get Bronson Reed for just one match because he beat Okada, as you know.
He did, but he hasn't. But he hasn't beaten Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryan. So
exactly.
If Bryan beats Okada, then Jonah Rock and Bryan Danielson need to have a match to crown best in the world.
I think that's fair. But it feels better than last year's because there were just so many injuries last year. Like Danielson being one of them. Punk was injured. What Punk walks back into, who the hell knows? You've got Jay White over here now. You've got Eddie Kingston in the G1. Like there's so much.
Give Punk Toriano.
No, it's got to be Kenta, right?
No, it's got to be
settle it once and for all. No, give MJF Toriano.
No, well, yes, but also I just want to see Toriano get one over on Punk, and then Tony afterwards be like, "Yeah, now who's in charge?" Yeah. And then Gato just laughing the whole way through.
Put that on Collision, bitch.
Give me Punk and Alex Coughlin. That's what I want. I want to see Coughlin beat the shit out of CM Punk.
I don't want him to get injured as soon as he's back again.
That's a CM Punk issue.
I think the wild card is what, if anything, MJF will do. Like, I think there's all these kind of natural cross sections for a lot of other people. Shota Umino being a young lion of Mox makes everything very interesting because you could pull that with the Blackpool Combat Club and everything going on with the Elite right now. Ibushi shows up. But I feel like MJF, because God bless that man and his presser for saying that pretty much everybody except for Great Okan is just an indie fed guy. Holy shit.
He's right though. He's right. Damn it.
He's so right. I popped so hard.
You think Max gets Tanahashi? That's what certain people are thinking.
Max and Tana could be really fun. Max and Tana could be really fun. But we'll see. You could also do Sonata, I guess. Like you could just do world champ versus world champ. Easy setup. Tana feels like the right call though, from like a match energy standpoint.
Yeah, it's big. But I don't know, man. Okada, Ishii, and Tanahashi having those never open weight 6-man tags, I was so sure that we were going to do a match similar to this one at Forbidden Door, but obviously that gets blown open now that Tana might do Max. Okada seems to be on a collision course with Bryan Danielson. And then we also have, well, we can even talk about the Kenny match. That's also that's the only official match is Kenny Omega.
Correct. Yes.
Versus
Kenny and Ospreay too.
Versus Will Ospreay. That's going to be at Forbidden Door for the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship. That is going to be a banger of a match. That's going to be a fun match. They're going to build it well. Don's probably going to come back to talk to his buddy for a little while on that build for a couple weeks.
I also just love that we're doing that in Canada, and you could logically set up the third in Wembley, right in Ospreay's territory. That's such a fun way to sum up a series of 3. Like they were both in Japan, where they've kind of established roots, and then you're in each person's hometown. That's a super fun way to go. But there's a lot you could do. There's a lot you could do, and it feels like possibilities instead of stuff being thrown together. You know, like I think that'll be a really, really nice card to round out. And it'll feel like a collision of all-stars, but not void of story in any way. Like I think it's being built at a much more even pace this year.
Do you have Ospreay come back, win the US Championship, and then drop it at Wembley in part 3 to Kenny?
I think you could do that. I also don't know if you need Kenny having that title. Like you could have Ospreay win it that enough to get you to 3, right? Kenny's like, no, I want that title back, and just have Will Ospreay retain. Ospreay's not going anywhere anytime soon, and Kenny is also involved in the hottest story in AEW. So where attention kind of deans itself, I think could be you could just keep it on Ospreay, but use the Ospreay win as the impetus to set it up at Wembley.
Someone in the chat asked me if I'm going to be doing it at the media scrum at Forbidden Door. My plan is yes. I have to apply for my credentials because I think I've mentioned this on other shows. Sean's not going to Toronto because he's a coward and he's afraid of me. The guy that used to go to all of the AEW shows on behalf of Fightful now works for AEW. So probably not. And Reg told us on the air that he's not going. So he won't be able to go in and ask a billion questions at the presser after the show.
Can't make CM Punk cry.
Can't make CM Punk cry. So I'm going to have to do that. The onus is on me at a New Japan AEW crossover show to make CM Punk cry. That's a big gap, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to make him cry.
Just ask him about Larry and as a dog, him getting older. Like
I'm going to ask him all about 10 minutes with Ace Steel on Wrestling Perspective podcast.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
That's going to confuse a whole lot of people, by the way. But I'm excited. So I'm going to ask him about it. I'm going to be like, so Lars works on our channel. Also Rancid. Also has your ballet steel. Wednesday's going to do the thing.
Yeah.
He'll be like, what thing? When's he going to tell us about the lawsuits?
Yeah. He's not going to cry about that, though. You got to go for the heartstrings.
Yeah, I got other things. I'll ask him Bret Hart questions. There you go.
There you go. Hey, we're in Canada.
Yeah. What about
Bret Hart?
Denise doesn't go on behalf of Fightful. Denise goes on behalf of her own channel. Like she is.
Denise goes on behalf of Denise because she's
Denise.
Powerhouse herself, baby.
I don't think people really understand it. Like Denise is not like she's not Fightful. Like she's affiliated with us, but she doesn't run the news. She doesn't do like what Jeremy does or like I do here all the time or Kate.
Joel, tell them the truth. You wanted to, you tried much like Bullet Club. You tried to jump Denise out and it didn't work.
Oh no, it never worked. She's too popular. She's too big for being so small.
Yeah, no, she's scrappy as hell. You know what I mean?
Oh my god, she'll just beat my ass. But anyway, no, she goes on her own and her work with Fightful is largely like it's Raw and it's the post WWE pay-per-views. She doesn't do anything else for us. That's it. And like she does a great job. I just think that she's like
she doesn't need us. We'll put it that way.
No, but she's a big draw for this channel. Absolutely rightfully so.
Right. We need her, is what I'm saying.
Yes, exactly. I do agree. Yes,
Not the other way around.
Joel Pearl in the weeds. Fightful Overbooked. Mr. Punk, if you were a hot dog, would you eat yourself?
And you were starving.
No, starving or not, eat yourself. What is your hot dog? What is your favorite hot dog condiment, Mr. Punk? I am a vegetarian. Then what is your favorite condiment on a sandwich? I don't give a shit what's on it. Answer the question. I'm gonna get very abusive with him.
It's not. We're trying to make him cry. You've missed. You've
cry
missed the boat here.
Can I just bully him into crying?
I don't think sandwich condiments are gonna do it.
I could push in other ways.
He'll just fight you and you'll lose.
What's he gonna do? Block me on Twitter?
No, he'll. First of all, Larry will bite you.
That's true.
Second of all, Ace Steel might be there. He might bite you.
He'll bite me instead.
That's what's up.
I don't know about that. Anyway, yeah, the Forbidden Door stuff is going to be good. I'll be there. I'm hoping to go to Collision as well the Saturday night before. And the Sunday morning, I think I've talked on this show about Girls Next Door. I will be there.
You have.
Yes. I'm very excited for Girls Next Door.
You are very excited for Girls
so
Next Door.
excited for Girls Next Door. It's going to be a good show. There's a lot of really good stuff that's coming out of that. So go watch that. If you're going to be in town for Forbidden Door, go to those shows. Smash Wrestling's great. Femme Fatale's great. So much good stuff going on. And yeah, that's what's going on there. I guess we should talk about the elephant in the room.
We should. I don't see an elephant anywhere in here.
It's big gold. It's behind you.
Oh.
Good book. No, let's talk about
A go-looking belt.
That's true. It's a big belt. Is this what you're using as your like replacement for when you don't actually have a title belt in the background like every other podcaster?
Yeah, I don't need to buy a bunch of title belts because I've got them all.
Every variant imaginable right here.
It's a very cool book. This was given to me by one of my Mark Order co-hosts, Anthony. And it's really cool. It's got the legacy of them all and the pictures and stuff. It's a fun little read.
Did he sign it?
He did not sign it. I should make him sign it though.
He should. When he's famous, rich and famous.
Which, wrestling podcasting basically makes you a star, kid.
People want to talk about Eddie Kingston in the G1. Listen,
okay,
it's great. I think it's good. I think it's a dream come true for Eddie.
Let me tell you something, partner.
Let's go.
I'm entering the G1, and I'm gonna kick everybody's ass, because that's what I do. And I am gonna beat Sonata to become the world heavyweight champion, partner.
Okay, but what if he goes like 0-30?
Well, you can't go 0-30 in a tournament.
Oh, okay.
You can go 0-2, I think.
Colby Carino came back to the NWA. That's a shame.
Listen, it doesn't matter what block I'm in. I've been in jail blocks. I've been in cell blocks that were harder than this.
What cell block was Eddie Kingston in? He never went to jail.
You don't know that.
Are you confusing Eddie Kingston with Nick Gage?
This is my Eddie Kingston. This is figure Eddie Kingston. He's done some shit.
Right. It's like there's a difference between Hulk Hogan and Terry Bollea.
Exactly.
Hulk Hogan has a 10-inch appendage. Terry Bollea does not. Eddie Kingston went
something else.
Eddie Kingston, the figure, went to jail.
He didn't say he was in jail. He just went to jail. He could have been visiting a friend in jail.
That's right. When Metallica went to San Quentin to film Saint Anger, he was there just
He was there. Just as like an extra.
As an extra. He was the guy with the bald head and the beard.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
That's him. That was Eddie Kingston. Yeah, he couldn't think of other plots.
What do you mean?
Oh God, I don't know. These are your people, not mine.
Right. I don't look. You think I'm gonna sit out here and claim Ryan? He's never sent me any Reese's cups.
Apparently they were sold out this year. That's why he didn't buy me at my birthday.
He's the best. He's just the best dude. I can't even fame it. He's just
That's
like,
fun.
I'm here to help everyone all the time.
Good dude. Love him.
Yes.
Let's speaking of not loving people though, let's talk about Roman Reigns. Let's talk about that Bloodline segment from Friday Night SmackDown.
Can we talk about the ugly belt first?
Do you think
Let's
it's
get out of the
ugly?
way?
What made it ugly to you? Why don't you like it?
I don't. Okay, so just from like a personal taste standpoint, I don't like super yellowy golds. I like the white golds. And I guess I was just thinking, like, a couple months ago, we thought Cody was going to win and bring back the Winged Eagle belt, and now we have this thing. It's not that it's bad, it's just that it's just fine. And when you go from, like, undisputed 2 belts, and you're like, we're merging them into this one, it should feel like a big deal upgrade situation, but this felt like, hey, we're going to try and make this as replicable for merch as possible and look kind of exactly like the other one so that it doesn't feel like a second runner-up belt, even though it's a second runner-up belt. So it just felt like for a 1,000-day celebration and for everything that they have put emphasis on with this, the two titles, like merging them into one should have been like a, oh my God, this is like one of the best belts ever made kind of thing. And it just kind of looked like a toy belt. Didn't look great.
So my general feeling when I saw it was I kind of liked it.
Of course you did. You're not a man of taste.
No,
you're basically LJ.
Yeah. Exactly. Wait, what?
You know,
I bought
you're
shirts.
gonna be like, oh, mint chocolate chip ice cream sucks. Like, you guys just don't have taste.
It's fine. I don't go out of my way.
Here's what you guys need to do if you're in the chat, okay? If you want to see what it feels like, if you want to hear what it sounds like when 2 people have no taste and do a podcast, you got to tune in to the Runchy with Joel and LJ, okay? Like, you need to hear it. You need to download it. You need to give it 5 stars just so more people can hear it. Because other people need to be made aware of it. So make sure that you listen to it, but know that when you're listening, it's going to be 2 people that like mediocre looking belts and are mean about delicious ice cream. That's it.
I like mint chocolate chip. I just don't go out of my way for it.
Yeah, that's a you problem.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
top 5 flavor, hands down.
Are you asking me or are you stating?
It's a statement.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I get that. I don't disagree with that at all. I enjoy mint chocolate chip. I also enjoy cookies and cream, pralines and cream. I enjoy
pralines and cream.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's good. It's
over mint chocolate chip, praline.
I'm not making a list. I'm just stating.
You are in your mid 80s.
Kind of. In some ways, I really am.
Cookie dough, I get.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pralines and
cookies and cream is another good one. Oh, it's good. And I got this like salted caramel one. That was really good. It was much better.
Those are respectable. Pralines.
I don't know why. I just like the texture of the pralines.
The Runchy with Joel and Ella. An 85-year-old and a young, beautiful woman with terrible taste in food.
It's like listening to the Cornet podcast, but a lot less racist.
If that's not a promo for it, I don't know what.
They're not nearly as racist.
Don't go through any drive-thrus, please. Oh my god.
Oh god. Okay, so new champion. Oh, here we go. Pecan Praline for the win.
What is wrong with you people?
My dude. He gets it. I'm gonna.
He doesn't even have a surname. He can't be trusted.
I will say this. I love that y'all are giving us money, and please keep giving us money because I say this on every show. The money that we get here on Overbooked, it goes to people not named Joel, Kate, or Jeremy, who were literally all on this show tonight. So everything we have goes to the other contributors on the channel. We once we get sponsors, that's when we're just going to bleed this channel dry. That's when
if you don't send in money, you're not giving it to Haley and Kylie, which means you don't support women.
That's right, Kylie and Haley.
If you don't send it, and I'm not talking $2, guys. It should be like $50 a pop.
Yes.
Because otherwise you don't support women.
You've been called out by the woman herself. So donate all the money you have. Empty your bank account.
I'm sick. I'm done with. We appreciate you being here. I'm done with every little bit means so much. I'm done with it. Pony up. where you hate women. That's it.
Fucking Katie Shivani over here. I was nice on the air for 25 years, and now I just don't give a shit.
Everybody's interrupting my interviews to call me an asshole. Done.
Over it. And when my contract is done, I will go somewhere else,
That's right.
but not the WWE.
No.
Okay, so the belt. I don't hate the belt. It's not the prettiest belt, but I wasn't like taken complete. I was just like, yeah, sexy looking belt. It's good enough. It's good enough in the way that they're still going to send a belt like that to winning sports teams. They were never going to abandon that design. Could the color have been different of the gold? Yeah, I agree with you. It probably could have been a lot better. But the idea that whatever they were trying to do, I got it. I understood what they were going for. The execution, yeah, it's probably going to need some tweaks here and there to get better. I like the black diamonds instead of the ones they were using before, just the white diamonds. I like that. That's a good difference maker. It's like it just looks nice. But yeah, the gold coloring behind the belt could have been better. That's all.
It definitely could have. I also don't give that much of a shit.
That's fair. Like again, that's totally fair.
You know what I mean?
I looked at it and I was just like, yeah, neat. Okay, that makes, if you're gonna amalgamate those two titles and give him just one, make it look really like neat and premium and like it can go from space to space.
My favorite title runs right now are the ROH women's one and the New Japan TV title run. And there is nothing uglier than that New Japan TV title belt.
I love that title. I love that title so much. That was someone's rib, and they just took it as far as they could.
My
and
God.
There's some ugly titles out there.
They have this whole story with Zack Sabre Jr. and Samoa Joe, like TV champion versus TV champion. And they're like both holding up their belts. And the ROH one's real nice. And that one is so bad. And watching them like try and be like belt for belt. Like,
I'm waiting for them to refresh that ROH TV title.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm waiting for them to tell us what the ROH roster is. So I'm like,
good luck. There are some people who came back tonight at the tapings who still are on technically the AEW roster. So good luck.
I think post Collision we'll probably get a good call, like on some clarity there.
Ricardo, who did not send us $50 as expected. Joel, your opinion is wrong. That belt is fugly AF. Hey man, everyone's allowed to have their opinion. Yours is just wronger than mine. That's all. Also, $50 is what you should have given me.
Yeah, I'm like, I kind of agree with him, but also like support women.
Yeah, $50. That's what we're here for. Anyway, Roman.
Out of my mind.
People who kind of support women, but also like do not at all support family. So it's kind of a weird situation here. Roman, so Roman gets his new belt presented on the same podium that The Rock got his on in 2014, and then the Usos come out after being told, "Oh, they're not coming tonight, my tribal chief. Their travel was canceled at Jerks." It continues to feel like, as I've said multiple times, the Bloodline story is an insular problem. It is still the family. We go round and round a lot, but it's still a family-based issue. And every time that the family's involved, the storyline is entertaining as hell. The second someone from the outside tries to come in and go after Roman's title, the story is less entertaining. Do you agree? Do you disagree?
I disagree right now.
Okay.
Because I think it feels like everything got turned up. Like, it feels like this title is going away faster than anticipated. I don't know if Roman got a big movie deal or what happened, but I find it very interesting that it feels like Jey Uso is going to win the title sooner rather than later. So because it's leading to what should be the ultimate payoff, I feel like it's actually really interesting because this story started with Jey, and if it ends with Jey as a singles title world champion, I think that's super interesting, and I think it's one of the ballsier things they could have done with it. Like, I still feel like Sami should have won. I still feel like it was, if you didn't want it to be Cody, you shouldn't have built it being Cody, and all of these things. And I definitely feel like the fall of the Bloodline should have been involved in Roman losing at least one of the titles. But if they're actually going to do the thing that the story calls for the most organic possible way, like which I didn't think they would do, it being Jay and having it, let's say, wrapped up by SummerSlam, I'm interested in that. Overall, I feel like it was a chokehold around a lot of the roster for the past couple of years. But this phase of it, I don't feel that way.
So I agree with you. Jay is the likely winner out of the Roman Reigns saga. This, I don't know. A lot of this feels like there is a larger situation at play with how this ends. I think they have an idea of how it's supposed to end, but I think they're still trying to like tie up the final pieces of it. And I'm not saying it's going to end at SummerSlam. I think it's still got some legs to it. It's been Jay since the beginning. I go back to the WrestleMania press conference where everyone was so tied up in the bottom of the third reference that they completely glazed past the part where Roman said, "This storyline ends with me elevating my family." How else do you elevate your family if not having one of them take the title off of you? This is a very mob story. This is a very succession story. And how do those stories end? It ends with somebody from within the family becoming the next boss. And how do they become the next boss? They turn everyone against the current head of household and they take over. So this ends potentially with Jay becoming like the quote unquote tribal chief as the biggest heel and Roman turning in the process. But that's a weird story to tell because Roman's been a gaslighting piece of shit for years now.
I don't know if it is. I think he could just lose and go away. Jay is so over. I don't know if you would want to mess with that. But I do think, to me, it feels like something happened because this went from the bottom of the third to the bottom of the eighth really fast.
Did it though? I think people are assuming that it did.
I think so, just because they don't give a shit about programming from like October to the next Royal Rumble. And this doesn't feel like it's, to me, I don't know if you can rightfully carry this out until Royal Rumble and Mania. Like, this to me feels like SummerSlam because not only the pacing of the story right now, but because Survivor Series hasn't mattered in like 5 years. Like and it doesn't usually matter in that way. I think if you want it to be Solo who eventually wins, maybe you drag it out to Rumble because that just involves so much less from Roman Reigns. And I also don't hate that because Solo would be, Jay's already a legend, right? I think it should be him for the sake of the story. But if you wanted it to be a, hey, you have a young made star kid now moment, you could have it be Solo. But I think it's sooner rather than later because they just historically have not cared really past SummerSlam to do anything with it. And it just, to me, has felt like something changed because it was so stalled and picked up so fast. It feels like Roman might be headed away sooner than later. And then maybe comes back at Mania or for Mania season. But that there's a few months where this guy's going to go away.
Now that they have Seth with a world championship of his own, I wouldn't be surprised if they still draw this out. I wouldn't be surprised if they do bring this to WrestleMania. Let Roman have the, I've beat, people at multiple WrestleManias for the last 3 years and make that a big thing. I do see them continuing this. It's not always going to be great. I mean, we've seen that. Sometimes it's going to be boring. Sometimes it's going to be a little stagnant.
But what story do you even tell then to last you that long? Because
again, you bring in other competitors. I know I just said that it's not always the most interesting, but if you're going to have other competitors for Roman, you still got Bobby Lashley. You've still got Sheamus.
Yeah, but you can't have the downfall of the Bloodline and not pay off the title loss. I mean, that is like, that's a misuse of booking even for them.
If you're going moment to moment, which they kind of are, then this is just another opportunity for them to book another challenger who's going after the title, looking strong, and then losing to Roman.
What on earth are you doing with the Usos?
The Usos are there. Whatever they're doing, they have a side story again. It could be trying to get Solo back on their side, despite Solo having rejoined. Well, not rejoined, firmly planted himself with Roman.
I don't know. That would feel very, very, even for them. I think because they ratcheted it up so fast to then pull off of that, like it feels like they've got to. Why did you do this all to not capitalize for another 6 months? Feels like a terrible call.
I don't think they ratcheted anything up. I just think people get so like stuck on week to week. No, they did.
They ratcheted
from Mania to Backlash. They knew they weren't going to have Roman. It's really whenever Roman's around, they start doing stuff. They didn't have Roman from Mania until like the night after Mania until the couple of weeks before Night of Champions.
But they didn't even slow burn the split from like that point. They had a unified bloodline, and now it's like it's fallen apart.
How unified were they when they lost their tag titles and they kept losing their matches? They won at Backlash, but other than that, they weren't exactly like lighting the world on fire. Roman was pissed. He was still pissed.
Yeah, but I don't. To go from that to super kicking him twice is like, it felt like they were doing nothing, and then they cut very close to the end of the story. It would be an egregious abuse of the story to honestly drag this out.
I think all they did was show that they're all hotheads, which is what they've always been. The trope in wrestling, all Samoans are hotheads. They're all gonna lose it on each other at any moment's notice, and that's kind of what happened here. Jimmy, I ain't no bitch, Uso decided to take offense to Roman and do his thing. And so we're back on this fast track. It feels like a fast track, but it's not going to end. I don't think it's going to end by SummerSlam. I don't think it's going to end before WrestleMania, quite honestly. I don't see it just suddenly ending like after giving him the new title. Well, I mean, suddenly in the way that you're talking about them ramping it up coming out of Night of Champions. I think Night of Champions was the restart of the insular conflict in that story.
It would be a gross misuse to have them fall apart internally and put off the. If Roman carries us for months with no protection outside of Solo, they have betrayed their own story to like such an extent of the law that I can't even. After him being protected to a disgusting point for 3 years, to them have nobody around to help anymore and him just be fine is a terrible fucking idea.
Tell you what, if word gets out in the next few weeks or months that WWE has signed their TV rights deal for SmackDown, specifically SmackDown, and it's a big deal and a big increase, then that Roman Reigns saga, the Bloodline saga, probably ends before the end of the year. If word doesn't get out before the fall, then this thing goes past WrestleMania. That's where my brain's at.
They also act like the whole draft matters when it comes to TV rights. Oh, does it?
No.
Does it, Joel?
No, not at all. No. I'm not even gonna fight that. It doesn't. I love the hall pass. I think it's so stupid. It's so good. It's so stupid. My goodness. Oh, we got a chat from Ella J. Super chat. Not $50, but it should have been. Y'all see that Colby Carino returned to the NWA? I mentioned that. Colby Carino is back. Good for him. He wasn't going to WWE right now, so get your pay. Get money.
Apologies, I can only talk about NWA once an episode.
Yep, we're done. We're not real fans.
I'm not. Yeah, I can't talk about we shouldn't even be talking about wrestling, really, because
it's true. What do you want to talk about?
So
you need to talk about.
Well, right now we're talking about sports entertainment, so that's okay.
Right, the same thing, but different.
Yeah. Completely different.
Yes, entirely.
Tyrus is pro wrestling. Did you see that Dweeb was like, oh, it's people who are mad about it are 45-year-olds who sit around fantasy booking. He's 50!
I mentioned this on In the Weeds. I love when wrestlers and wrestling adjacent people start this stupid fan train of blaming the fans one thing, but then being like, oh, it's people on the internet. It's like, who the hell do you? First of all, hey, Kate, I have a question for you. On what station can I watch the National Wrestling Alliance on TV?
Joel, it's so funny you should ask. Because the creme de la creme of wrestling, the brand that determines whether or not you are a wrestling fan, even
Yes.
not available.
Oh, it's not on linear cable television that I pay for, and I can use.
No, it's not on a real subscription provider streaming platform. Like, it's not like, oh, it's on Peacock or anything.
Oh, what? So where does the National Wrestling Alliance air their weekly television product?
Fight TV, kind of.
Is that an online, internet-based television product?
Funny you should mention that. It is.
Oh, the internet. Huh. I see someone in the chat mentions YouTube as well. Is the National Wrestling Alliance airing their shows on YouTube?
YouTube. Are you familiar with YouTube?
I think so. We might actually be live on YouTube right now.
Okay, so we are wrestling internet fans talking about this on YouTube.
Wow.
So YouTube, also an internet entity. And the implication that it's 45-year-olds booking this stuff, like in a fantasy booking way, when you're a 50-year-old wrestler who can't wrestle.
Let me tell you who Tyrus thinks NWA fans are. They think they're from small town Georgia, where there is no internet. They think they're from small town USA, where they have no internet, and suddenly in the paper, someone takes out an ad, his name's Billy Corgan, by the way, that says, NWA at your local gym this weekend. That's who Tyrus thinks is watching and paying or loves the NWA. And you know, he's probably right, because the people on the internet certainly are not and not enjoying it. Their social media team isn't even enjoying the product. I put out a very clearly sarcastic tweet about Bobby Fulton coming out, who, by the way, is only 4 years older than Tim Storm and looks every bit the 4 years older than Tim Storm that he is. And he's the Mortons then come out, by the way, Ricky Morton of the Rock and Roll Express and his son Kerry are in this tag team tournament. So they come out and they do their entrance. And then in the middle of their entrance, Bobby Fulton hits the microphone. He says, by the way, at the last NWA show, my Fantastics jacket, the blue one, was stolen. I am telling y'all that there is a $7,500 reward if you get my Fantastics jacket back. And of course, the Mortons are making their entrance at this point. People don't know how to react. So I tweeted out something like, Bobby Fulton hijacks the entrance in order to tell them about his lost jacket, $75 reward. And I'm like, I love it here. I'm never leaving. Hashtag Crockett Cup. NWA retweeted that thing. And I swear to God, Kate, I was very clearly sarcastic. But it's okay because we're not actually wrestling fans or watching the product to care about it, according to Tyrus or Billy.
I just would be like, because people will be like, it's because of his politics. And I'm like, he can't wrestle. I cannot name you a good Tyrus or Funkasaurus match in my entire life. So if Aaron Judge were hitting 120 with 2 home runs for the season, making 30 errors in right field, and I was like, that guy sucks, it wouldn't be because of his political views. He sucks at the thing that I'm tuning in to watch.
Exactly.
He sucks. He's bad at it, and he sexually harasses women.
That's right. He
sucks at wrestling.
So next time somebody tells you you're not a wrestling fan, you tell them Tyrus sent you.
That's right.
That's right. It's absolutely asinine. And listen, unfortunately,
it's so sad because like I love to watch. Like I'm a big proponent. Well, and I'm a big proponent of. You appreciate an art form in the present day if you go back and watch stuff. And my favorite shit to go back and watch is NWA from the 80s. My favorite. Like it's just the most for me stuff that there ever was. Like everything. And all you need is like Dusty Flair, and I'm so in. And I know that it was licensed a bunch before Billy took it over, but like the fact that this is like the legacy that is being extended is nauseating because it's a disgrace to it. It's an absolute disgrace to take like one of the purest wrestling brands and to do this nonsense with it. And then to turn around and say, can the women do the NWA style? Do you know what the fuck the NWA style is and was? Have you watched mid-80s NWA? Do you know how much they've watched? Zero. Like the Smashing Pumpkins song.
Just like the amount of people watching the show. There are more people watching our show than are watching the NWA pay-per-view. I just turned it on right now. This was the biggest mistake of my life because I read someone in the chat said Tyrus is wrestling now. It's Tyrus and Chris Masters. I like Chris Masters, by the way. Chris Adonis versus Trevor Murdoch and Mike Knox. I like one of those guys.
I like one of them, and I wouldn't even say that like the reasons I love him are for watching him wrestle. Like it's not, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Just anyway.
Trash.
And then my broadcast timed out, so I'm out. So I'm done. Anyway, Jericho's 52. It's not the age.
They're not making fun of 45-year-olds either, if you haven't noticed.
That's right.
God.
Punk can only start in about 6 months, whenever he turns 45.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's allowed to fantasy book for now.
Yeah. This is a good show.
It was.
There was a lot of good stuff.
There was a lot of promo for In the Weeds.
There was. By the way, check out In the Weeds tomorrow.
For the run sheet.
Yeah, the run sheet on Wednesdays, wherever you get your podcast.
Hey, if you have suggestions for who should be on the show, Joel will DM them and then leave them on red. So
that's true. I will do that. I'm seeing him next weekend.
Are you? He's the best.
Yeah, I think I'm seeing him. He's on the tour.
I love that we had a little. This is an inside thing we were talking about.
Yeah. Action Mike Jackson, by the way, is in his 70s. Someone in the chat saying he's in his 60s. No, he's in his 70s. 74. My Action Mike Jackson. Let's get out of here, Kate. I have to move this fan that's next to me into my bedroom.
Does your fan like Tyrus?
Or
is it not even really a fan?
It's not a fan. It's not a real fan.
Well, then you don't really have to worry about moving it because.
Damn. Let's get out of here. Plugging stuff. Let's go home.
I was at Excite Wrestling yesterday doing commentary and killing my earbuds, evidently. Sorry about that. But had a great time there. Go to twitch.tv/Excite Wrestling. We'll be back there in November, as well as a venue change coming up in the future and some fun things on the horizon happening at Excite Wrestling. But other than that, you can catch me all over Fightful. You can catch me here every Sunday, Joel and Kate at 8. Mondays on Fightful Select, but not this week because Alex Pulaski took a vacation like a weirdo. Tuesday, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do about Sour Graps, but I'll be there and you can tune in. Wednesdays, all things All Elite at the Mark Order podcast. Thursdays, I have the privilege of sharing the stream with Joel again for a couple of minutes as we switch from our ROH to Impact post-show. And then Fridays doing the AEW Rampage and SmackDown post-show. I'm a busy gal over here.
Yeah, booked and busy. Love it. That's why I do this. That's
why Renee Paquette respects me so much.
That's right. She loves you. And that's why Veda Scott wants to work with you.
I know. That popped to be huge.
Big fan of that. Yeah, that's the Alex going on vacation is really the news of the week.
So weird.
It's very weird. I don't like it.
I don't like it.
We got to find someone to take his place.
You can't take his place.
I know. Someone
you know what I mean?
Try to do a shtick. I don't know.
I'm trying to figure out if I want to bring on someone who's like absurdly positive or like find someone that'll sit in. You know what I mean? Like whether I can create an anti-hero situation for myself.
Spencer Love co-hosts the NXT post show. I think it's happening. Let's go. All right, let's get out of here.
Oh, shit.
I'm at Joel Pearl. We've got stuff on Fightful Overbooked all the time. Jeremy and I go in the weeds Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m.
Oh, do you?
I
didn't know that from the first half of the show, Joel.
Ella J and I, we run the run sheet on Wednesdays.
Oh, really?
Yes. Check your favorite podcasts and follow us there. We missed last week because my room is sweltering. It's 90 degrees. Hopefully that fixes by the end of the week. And of course, I'm on Thursdays with Kate and Reg and with the wonderful Cresta Star. We do the crossover and then we do the Impact Post Show talking about Impact Wrestling and all you need to know going into it. Against All Odds is next weekend. So Friday night, I will be live on the Fightful channel on the Friday night because we got to do Against All Odds because there's another show, of course. And other than that, Kate and I are here every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern doing Joel and Kate at 8 because it's just the fun way to end our week and start our new one. So hopefully y'all love us like we love you. Ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.
Protest Cinnabon.